Respected guest list, my name is Vikram. A few days back, we were in Bangalore discussing about the possibilities of technology which has been invested by Government of India in different states. The initiative was first started from different states. I'll just go into that also. And now it has become Pan-India initiative where Survey of India is leading it. So, what this initiative brings to you is a shift from a traditional way to digital infrastructure. So when we talk about digital infrastructure, I'm going to talk about possibilities which can be used by state departments to efficiently provide services or to bring everything on a platform where it can be shared seamlessly with different people working in different departments. So on the heart of this solution sits your reference station network. So reference station network, which has already been detailed by my previous speakers, how this possibility of sending correction parameters is important. But I'll just go on top of it and tell you about more solutions which we have been working on or which department or government can get benefits of. So if you see from perspective of Hexagon, Hexagon has the brand which is Leica Geosystem. And most of people must be bored of Leica Geosystem because we have been coming from total station and GPS industry, and this is reference station network. We started with first reference station network in India, which was done by Land Record Department. The Land Record Department wanted to manage the entire cadastral maps, and they wanted to measure the cadastral map with an accuracy, repeatable accuracy of better than 5 centimeters. So when we discussed on the top level, we did some benchmark workshops. We went on to set up this reference station network, which is around 70 stations running continuously in entire Tamil Nadu. The next one was Andhra Pradesh Land Records. They are using it in a much different level because they have got an enterprise software which is built on the reference station network. In the course of my presentation, you will see that also because I want government of UP also they can also get benefited from that enterprise solution. Then Karnataka and Maharashtra. These are two initiatives which were done by Survey of India, and they will be used for Swamitva and other applications also in the due course. But important part in the fifth one, that is the National Capital Region Transport Corporation. You know, the railway construction, which is a engineering application. Nobody thought about using a GPS for engineering application because most of the people were worried about getting the repeatable accuracy when you measure the same point. So we at Leica Geosystem, with you using our own technology, which is master auxiliary concept, we were able to prove to them that even a GPS can be used for your railway activity. We'll see those also in those engineering applications, how it is getting impacted. They just speeded up their work, and National Capital Region Transport Corporation is a joint collaboration of Government of UP, Government of Haryana and Government of Rajasthan. So they are running 10 corridors which are regional rail transit corridors. These corridors will be developed over a period of time to ease the passenger traffic on the road. Now, going further, if we talk about chorus rate usage for precise positioning, you have got a big infrastructure set up by Survey of India, where you have multiple stations, 69 stations running in UP. How the government can be benefited? Who can be the users, where we can go and promote those people that they should start using this technology, because then only a sustainability of technology will happen only when you have users on that technology. So it's not just about mapping for drones, it's also about various other possibilities which can be realistic now. Now first thing is, if you talk about mining sector you see a lot of mining operations happening. But those mining operations, if they use the common spatial reference frame by using a reference station network, they see a productivity enhancement of around 30%. Whether you talk about grading, surveying, dosing, fleet management system, all these can use the corrections of reference station, which will increase their productivity by 30%. Similarly, UP is being such a vast state, which is an agriculture-driven economy also. We have so many assets, so many agriculture assets. So how do you speed up, you increase the efficiency of agriculture production? If those people start using the reference station network, guaranteed they will get reduction in the overall cost of fuel. You can do the precision farming, where your seed line can be automated, where your leveling of the fields can be automated, so your overall usage of the water will reduce in the same field and your overall production will increase. Punjab has been benefited a lot because of using these leveling activities. Now, going to civil engineering, your construction of highways, your construction of railways, all these can use your reference station network. Once they use their reference station network, that reduces the time of construction about 30%. Reduction in 30% of the time means your project will be laid faster, the customer will get a faster return of investment, and the overall cost of the product is also reduced by 10%. So if I say a 5,500 crore project, your first immediate investment reduction is 10%. You get 5 crore back on the day one. But over the time, when you give those projects of 3 years timeline, in 2 years itself, you will be having a faster return of investment because the people will be paying tolls at much faster pace. Now, if you talk about photogrammetric surveys, which we are talking about, the drones and all applications, the drones can be benefited by using the reference station network. So they can take there can be RTK drone or can be post-process drone. The RTK drone can take the corrections from your reference station, nearby reference station, so you don't need any ground control point or GCPs for doing the surveys with the RTKs. Then your rail track surveys, which we'll see in the future slides, because that's important, we'll touch upon that subject. Then individual citizens who want to use it for accurate, it might be over the time that you will allow a citizen to map his own asset and pass that accuracy of that asset, because each and everything which is mapped with the reference station network will have a stamp of observation as well as the accuracy stamp. So an auditing which is done by the citizens themselves, when they will capture some data, they can send the information back to the centralized server which is audited. So what happens on a server side application, you just checkbox that with whether that person, when he mapped this asset, did he get the correction from reference station network or not, and then he can publish that data. So you think how your crowdsourcing of data will become so easy. You will make enable citizen who can use these all network correction. Another important thing is navigation. Typically, if you start navigating with your mobile phone or your vehicle navigation system as on date, when you have to take a turn, typically you'll see that you will say after 50 meter right, after 10 meter right, but nobody will say after 1 meter right or after 50 centimeter right. The possibility of making a precise navigation will become a reality when you use this reference station network. So you are increasing. This is very important when we talk about two important platforms in Uttar Pradesh. One is 1090 and 112, which are running on the Hexagon platform. So when we talk about managing those patrol vehicles, the police vehicles for a response system, that will be more precise once you use the reference station network correction. Then your emergency service, where you want to do a disaster management, you want to send your field crews, if there is a fire, so your response system will increase. You are not reacting, basically you are acting at that particular point of time. So if you say all the infrastructure solutions which needs to give you a coordinate or XYZ of a location, they can be the potential ambit of using the reference station networks. So these are all possibilities, and we, like a Geosystem or a Hexagon, is available in all this sphere. So if I say to this, it is ChorusNet for all. So reference station network not only for one particular department, but I'll say reference station network for multiple users and multiple platforms. Whether you are doing surveying or mutation activity, whether you are doing an urban mapping, somebody is collecting the asset data, like underground, I'll say electricity lines, so he can use the reference station network. That data can be passed on to another company which is going to set up maybe an OFC cable underneath and they want to dig it. So the precise mapping which is done by one department can be shared to the department also. If you talk about smart policing and location intelligence, think about a scanner collecting a data using the reference station correction with precise coordinates, and you can see the Leica scanner there on the background also. So you have a 360-degree data, which is an immersive view. You take it to a platform where you can walk through the entire corridor, but on a geodetic reference frame or I will say a GPS reference frame. So your mine and machine control activity, which I have already discussed, all these can help you in increasing the reference station network usage. So if I say reference station network benefits, it is on different parts. One is the operational efficiency, which increases your production capacity. Position reliability means you get a very reliable position which can be verified over a year of activity also. Whether you measure it today or you measure after 1 year, you will get not a variation of more than 1 to 2 centimeters. And your commercial implications. So if you want to sell the reference station, suppose one particular department has set up the reference station network, another department wants to use it, they can always sell the subscription to other people. Like they can charge some minimum amount of money for particular department to use the correction for 1 month or 2 months. These type of activities possible. Then you have multiple other applications which are research oriented, or which I'll say there are so many universities which are working on those research applications. They can also use this reference station network. But all these will be centralized to manage. The centralized, because Survey of India is running a centralized network control center in GNRB, Dehradun. so they can manage all these activities for dissemination of data to different people. Now if I go to the Chorus.net for engineering application, because this is basically an infrastructure usage, you think about a engineering application where you are many a time lost because you have got frequent control points, lost the field, revisit of those control points, revisit of alignments. All these points will be saved once you use the reference station network. So once the reference station network is set up, you can use it for initial DPR preparation. You can use it for capture of the actual alignment also. So your overall timeline is reduced for a particular project by using the reference stations. So next important is reference station for your rail corridor. Hexagon or Leica Geosystem is running the first reference station network in India. We are the only company which has been successful in promoting usage of reference station for your engineering application in railways. This is basically a corridor which is running from Delhi to Meerut. It is an 80-kilometer corridor. In those 80-kilometer corridor, we have around 10 reference stations which are used by your field crews of different like L&T, AFCON. They are all the construction companies which are working on there, but all of them have a mandate to use this reference station correction, so that whenever they have an overlap of station, they don't mix up on mixing, or they don't say that one particular person has not done an accurate survey. So you see over here, it has removed the benchmark and overall life cycle management has become easier. What will happen is if you do the reference station network today and later on if you want to use it for further activity for life cycle, maybe an automatic signaling, if I say collision avoidance system, all these things will become possibility if they had a reference station network. So they are trying to develop a lot of top-end solutions based on this system. This is a particular usage where they are using the reference station with the GNSS for doing the viaduct alignments, and this is the first of its kind. Then I talk about land record application, because UP has a big land record department, so you will have to manage the land record assets, or precise mapping of land record has to be done. But it is very important how that data from the field to the office is getting shared. We have developed our first project in India which is running on Hexagon Web Map platform, which is being done for AP government. So Andhra Pradesh Land Records is doing the mapping of the entire Andhra. They are going to map every square inch of land with a high precision, and they want to use that data for giving it to the people. So all this is happening in a very enterprise manner. When I say enterprise manner, what I really mean by that is that you capture the data, you disseminate data to the office, and then you publish the data also. So all this happens automatically. So one person who collects the field map, and a user, a farmer who is in the field, wants to see his field map, we publish the map to him right in the field itself. We show how it map look like. And if you want to put some spatial attributes on top of it, we can do over here. So this is one part of it, and the managing the field crews. When you have land record survey, you think about mapping an entire state, you will have more than 1,000 people doing an everyday survey on the ground. How do you manage those 1,000 people on the ground? With the reference station network on the centralized control center, you can see the precise information of each and every person. The plus sign indicates that a person is getting the precise accuracy of better than 5 centimeter on ground, which is shown on a base image, which makes it easier for the people also to see which particular land parcel or the survey parcel he is working in. So all this is done in a Hexagon Web Map platform. All this data is a real time. You collect all these assets, push it back to the office. So it becomes so easier, so seamless to share the information from field to office also. There are differentiation which we say about using a drone-based mapping and to use an RTK-based mapping for your cadastral survey. I have prepared some slides. If you want, I am not we're short of time, so I'll not go through these slides. You can always get in touch with me. I'm still available outside. So these are few things for a comparative analysis. I just want to thank you for time, but just to tell you a last word is that reference station is really going to bring in a major change in your state, where the services will be more easier and more easily accessible for people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vikram. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ashish Kumar Mittal from History India for his presentation.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much once again for giving us the opportunity to share our thoughts with the august audience like you. I want to also thank my all predecessors who have done these amazing insights and great conversations about geospatial in the forum today. I am accompanied by my senior colleague, Mr. Chandramohan Singh Adhikari, who is sitting right there. He happens to be our solution champion. So in case I am stuck in some heavy discussions, he is always available for my help. My name is Ashish Kumar Mittal. I have been a sales manager ever through my career. It would be very difficult for me not to sell about my company, but I would try not to sell the company now because we have been doing that all along with you, sir, whenever we are discussing. So today I am going to talk about some smart solutions, some interconnecting things, some building blocks which can help us take towards our digital India. As you know, the location intelligence plays a vital role in that. So my most of the discussion will start from a holistic thing and we'll go and culminate on those areas. As you recently might have noticed, the last month, the policy changes, the policy consideration which has been done by Government of India regarding acquiring and uses of geospatial data has opened the floodgates of the innovation for all the communities who are aspiring for geospatial things. It may look a little scary, but I want to start with this slide. Our nation is challenged. Not only our nation, but the whole world, you can say, is challenged in terms of what we have done with our environmental integration and issues of local stability are creating a lot of uncertainty for all of us. So these challenges are ranging from loss of nature, racial injustice, and my favorite, there is a lot of social conflict also you might be noticing nowadays. So all these challenges have been created by none other than us collectively. So while this is looking scary and we have created a world where things are a bit challenged and maybe it's going to be challenging for all of us in the rest of our lives. So the good part is we all are responsible for these challenges and we all are responsible collectively for overcoming these challenges as we go along. How it will be possible for us to overcome these challenges as a community, as a team, as a professional, as a bureaucrat, as a politician, as a community which is encompassing all the walks of life. So it will not be possible alone with the technology. Technology can do whatever we can think of, whatever we can imagine of stuff. So addressing and overcoming these challenges require better understanding and communication. It may also require collaboration. It will require our best sciences. It will require our best technologies. And it will also require our critical design thinking and problem solving capabilities as human beings. And there, geography, our science, your science, all of us are mostly GIS professionals, will play a major role, sir. The geospatial community will be essential in creating a geospatially literate society going forward. GIS is organizing the world geographic knowledge. It's creating building blocks of shared understanding through data models that organize it, through analytic processes models, interpretive models, through maps and how we visualize our world, through the stories that we tell, now enhanced with digital story maps, through the reports, infographics, dashboards, and of course the workflow themselves. These building blocks are transforming how we see the world, how we interpret the world. How it will be possible? It will not be possible, as I said, along with technology. We the people who are expected to be technology, savvy people, who are expected to be decision-making people, who are expected to be some people who understand the problem, who can communicate, who can collaborate. This will be possible through us, through all of us who are GIS professionals. We are applying the science of geography almost everywhere. We are creating many independent and focused systems and projects. And increasingly they are sharing their data and apps and sharing geographical knowledge. And thanks to the emerging technologies of the web, these are becoming interconnected, they are becoming a socially accessible infrastructure, and it is opening many new opportunities for collaborative action. All of us. How this will be possible, sir? I have spoken about the science, I have spoken about the people, I have spoken about the decision makers. This is going to be the geospatial infrastructure as we go along. It is not that it has not been there, it has been there for long, but to put it in a structured way, it will start from individuals like you and me, then the teams, then the departments, then the organizations, and then the communities. System of systems. So unless all these things are put in place like this, things are not going to be easy for us, sir. geospatial infrastructure is emerging very, very rapidly. As we are talking, changes are taking place, things are being innovated, things are being implemented. I mean, it's happening all the time. I mean, it's happening as we do anything, things are changing there. So this infrastructure is emerging really very, very rapidly. Individual systems are beginning to link together and share their data, interconnecting and bringing in services from external sources. The base map of our ArcGIS, which is our brand name, are an online example of this. But geocoding, spatial analytics, and the ecosystem of distributed services being brought together to empower these systems is also bringing together people to collaborate and use information in the new and important ways. You can see all these. I mean, these are bringing together, and it is emerging very, very rapidly. Interestingly, as we go along, each and every kind of data, each and everything you can think of is now being recognized, being consumed, being disseminated, being collected, being acquired. You talk about, I mean, tabular data, unstructured data, real-time data, vector data, raster data, imagery data, and first collecting them correctly, then analyzing them correctly, and then disseminating them correctly is the key. So technology people are trying to innovate that nothing is left alone. You are able to collaborate with almost everything. So, and then making them available as ready-to-use services in the form of web, maps and layers and 3D data. This is bringing together the world information as a geofishing infrastructure. We are also trying to create the digital twins as we go along. It is a very unheard kind of things from some years ago, but nowadays people are talking about creating digital twins. So basically what we are innovating, what we are doing in the lab should not be far away for what is being happening on the road, what is on the ground. If things on ground are different than what is being innovated, then there is no use. So digital twins, what we are trying to say here is that what is the problem seen on the ground, we are trying to simulate exactly the same way in the labs. So WebGIS is driving the digital transformation by helping organizations to re-envision their workflows, moving from sequential workflow like a sort of first generation automation to simultaneous workflows, integrated options, and different parts of the organization sharing common information and workflows all the same time. It changes fundamentally how organizations as a whole do their work. It becomes a different kind of organization then. If we just try to simulate what is on ground and what is in the lab, the things are going to be really different. Of late, GIS maps, dashboards, mobile apps, everything are being pervasive. Every year, sir, GIS community is adding to newer and newer use cases. Earlier, forest, agriculture, roads, smart cities used to use GIS. Now sir, we are seeing that people like Comptroller Account of General India, people like CBDT, people like MOSPI, people like PFMS, they are finding a relevance for GIS as they are going along in their use cases. They will not be able to think their life, their normal operation, their intelligence, their decision-making system without the use of GIS. So these maps and dashboards are particularly interesting because they are opening up the world's eyes and changing the way people see things, the way decision makers understand things, the way policy makers action things. It's helping tell the stories that are important to people so that they understand. The work of GIS professionals is critical, very, very critical to create a more understanding and collaborative world. I've spoken about the infrastructure, I've spoken about the maps, I've spoken about the dashboards. Now, these apps, without these apps, we cannot complete the thinking, we cannot complete the cycle of the things. Like, first and foremost, the things have to be collected in a proper way. They have to be collected correctly. Then only they can be analyzed. Then only decision making can happen. Then only dissemination can happen. So these apps, mobile, I mean, these are also advancing technology, providing a frictionless access to all the geospatial infrastructure. Pervasive web mapping, like the John Hopkins dashboard, which people have created when COVID times were there. I mean, first of all, it was collected correctly. When it was collected correctly, then only it was analyzed correctly, then only it was displayed correctly. So mobile apps, like we have Survey 123, we have Corrector for ArcGIS, we have Quick Capture, all these mobile apps are actually playing a very, very vital role when it comes to the complete GIS cycles. Unless we are able to embed these all technology with all the technology providers, it will be of really half the user. So you talk about, I mean, we have our industry colleagues who have done an amazing interaction in the forum today. You talk about any of these big names in the industry, be it Salesforce, be it Adobe, SAP, Autodesk, Trimble, we just heard them. So they're champions of their things, what they're doing. But at the same time, what is possible without collaboration and what is possible with collaboration means all the difference. So while they are champion of collecting the accuracy very correctly, GIS is the champion of displaying that information very, very correctly on the map. So it's all about collaboration. Unless we are able to collaborate with almost every technology provider in the earth who are the master of their field, we will not be able to have success in that. So we are trying to innovate technology in such a way that things are very, very collaborative. I mean, we should be able to consume what they are doing, they should be able to consume what we are doing. This is my favorite. Organizations are increasingly collaborating. So one which can be output of a particular organization, it can be the input for a second organization. Sir. To give you examples, RGI recently has partnered with GIS. I mean, they want to do this census, which unfortunately is delayed because of COVID. The census which will happen now will happen in a very different way, sir. It is not the census which happened in 2011 last time. Now when they talk about doing census, they will capture almost everything what was not possible to do earlier. Just to give you a small example, sir. After the census is done, and if this is done the way it is envisaged, if this is done the way it is planned, and if dreams are coming to reality, then they will just be typing that how many people with left arm disability they live in Gomti Nagar particular area. And then while you are typing this question, there are 10 more questions which are coming at the bottom, and the answers are coming simultaneously. So the charts are popping up while you are typing the question. So all these intelligence, all these analytics, all this advanced thinking is going to that. So unless we are able to collaborate with the department, things are not going to move the way they should be going. So we give you an example of UPRSEC, for example, is almost collaborating with the department who matters a lot for GIS, be it agriculture, be it sugarcane department, any department. So this collaboration will lead to a success which community will enjoy. One more concept which we have started worldwide. I mean, we started from the city of Los Angeles. That changes the life and that changes the pattern, the way government interact with citizens. I mean, why to go far? Why to go Los Angeles? We have recently done this thing together with the government of UP and central government put together, sir. I mean, we created this concept of Geo Hub for no other than Geo Kashi Hub, sir. I mean, this is something which they have demanded, and we try to showcase the technology which connects the people, which connects almost every citizen who is little bit technical savvy. So I will just take a pause and try to explain you what we have tried to do in Kashi, the constituency which is politically very, very important, and in terms of tourism also it's very important. So we have tried to do this for the Kashi, sir. So we have created a Kashi Geo Hub wherein you will find almost everything on the single page. I mean, it is the level of census integration we find. I mean, you can have AQI, you can have parameters, you can have air quality, you can have all the applications in one go. As we go along, you will find almost everything which a citizen and government can think of is put together in a single geo kind of thing. This makes all the difference. This makes it, I mean, usable by those people who are shy using technology. Unless it is possible for people on the ground to use it, things will not matter a lot. So while we are there to innovate, while we are spending time to innovate, people should be able to use it. We don't want them to do academic learning. They should be able to put it to use. So that's how the people of, I mean, tourists also and local people also able to use this geotechnology. So as I said, it is difficult for me not to talk about my company. Just a few words. We at ESRI, we are committed to continue in our mission, the way you are committed to continue in your mission, sir. We are here to serve our customers. We have a principle, ongoing principle. Whosoever is our customer, contractual obligations are apart.